Rosado, and I'm going to be talking to you about why video games aren't bad. You may have heard that video games are bad for you. They influence violence. They cause children to be violent, and they make people fat and antisocial, all these things, right?
Yes.
Well, actually, it's quite the contrary. And have they ever shown you facts about that these things are true?
Nope.
They
No.
just say that's what they think, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start off with the most obvious one, which is violence, and that a study shows that in the Journal of Youth and Adolescence, it showed that violent video games do not cause teens to become aggressive. And not only that, but people that are pretty weak to this, that can easily become aggressive, like if the heavy patients, like people with ADD or depression. Not only did it not cause them to become aggressive, but also it had a slight calming effect, almost like a relief towards them. And it's actually being used right now as to calm people down. And since video games, crime has actually decreased. And a study shown by the University of Texas in Arlington and Dr. Michelle Ward, it says that since 1994 to 2008, which is the most recent test, it shows that the violent video games sales were related to the crimes decreasing. In 1994, it started with approximately 510 violent crimes for every 10,000 people, and to 2010, it decreased to 224, which is more than half. And not only is it, can people say that it's a coincidence, studies show that actually video games had a big influence in this vast exchange, and the violent video game sales grew. The video games, as I mentioned, they actually prevent stress. And quoting Steve Thompson, he said, "The mindless activity of punching buttons and watching the screen can effectively take the mind away from stressors and focus energy on a more positive direction." And it's been used towards bullies. It's been used with kids with anger management problems and regular teens that just want to have a stress relief. And the only associated violent thing with video games is the rating. There's approximately 7, but the 3 most common in every cartridge, legally they have to have this, is the E, the T, and the M, which is rated everyone, teen, and mature. And the only purpose for this, it has nothing to do with games being violent, and they have to, like, depending on the kid, it has to be the game so they don't get aggressive. It has nothing to do with that. It's mainly so parents have control about the content that their kids are shown, but nothing else. It's mainly for preference for the parents. But right now I've been talking too much about how in the defensive position about what video games don't do according to what people say, and I want to talk to you more about the positive effects that video games do have, starting with health, which is a very big issue nowadays. And actually, video games are used with ill patients. Video games are shown in hospitals to improve health in the patients. We usually say that video games cause your eyes to be sore, they can decrease eyesight. Well, actually, studies show that it improves your eyesight. And it's also used in psychotherapy. And in a control test from FPS, which is first-person shooters, RPGs, which are role-playing games, and different games, it showed that people have faster and more accurate attention allocation. They have higher spatial resolution and visual processing, which is what I mentioned earlier, which is better visual skills, and enhanced mental rotation abilities. And Jordan Spiro, which is a person that's been studying video games for a long time, I want to quote him on something he said. He said, "The preliminary research has also demonstrated that these cognitive advantages manifest in measurable changes in neural processing and efficiency," which is a pretty big mouthful. But basically what he's saying is that when you take 2 people, a gamer and a non-gamer, the gamer, even if he's static, not doing anything, just standing up, you see the brain activity, and the brain is very active in terms of creativity, puzzle solving, different parts of the brain are still being used. Whereas a normal non-gamer, even while they're doing a puzzle which stimulates the brain, still it's comparing the brain, a puzzle solving brain to a gamer static brain. The gamer still has more brain activity than a regular person, which means that not only are you're practicing the brain while you're gaming, your brain still keeps functioning more positively even if you're not playing games, in terms of, so you can use this if you're taking tests, if you're problem solving, and you're gonna probably get better grades. In social, and it can be used in a lot of different ways. And which leads me to my second point, which is intellectual growth. And there's so many different things really that I can't just mention them all because it'll be a long time. But some of in the past studies, an article in a website called racistsmartkid.com showed that people that play video games have increased IQ, better at taking tests, puzzle solving, anti-coordination, decision making, following instruction, problem solving, and logic. There's introductive reasoning and hypothesis testing, and so many more, but I'm not going to mention them all right now. And it has a brief description of what each one does and in what areas it helps. And taking all these accounts, actually playing video games is a bigger workout for your brain than actually going to school and learning. It's in school basically you're acquiring knowledge, but in playing video games you're exercising the different parts of your brain, which are in 70% of the day you're not using at all. And cognitive scientists from the University of Rochester did an experiment where they took 300 subjects and they put half, 150 in one room, 150 in the other. Half of them were presented the video games for a few hours, while the others took a quick test, which was a basic hand-eye coordination, puzzles, and different exercises. And when they were done, they took the results and they compared it to the video gamers after taking playing video games. They were presented to the same tests, and when they took both answers of each team, it showed that the people that were playing video games had 25% faster answering time and 35% faster critical thinking and the right answer. So they were 30% faster in pinpointing what the correct answer was, and they were 25% faster, which in real life work and even school work and exams is a really big deal. And apart from health and intellectual growth, there's also emotional growth, the control, which health and intellectual, when combined, they can influence your emotions. And quoting again John Safira, he said, gaming may be the most efficient and effective means by which children and youth generate positive feelings. So not only do we see intellectual and physical health, but we see something that is usually depicted way more complex, and video games also help in that, and kids act more positively towards others, have it helps them emotionally, and it also influences your creativity. And in the Daily Mail research done by Rob Waugh, they took 500 children, approximately the age was 12 and under, and they were shown to a previous test, and when they got out, it showed that they had a bigger creativity towards drawing and creating stories. And this has been used in different schools and in other industries, also in the arts institutes. There was a previous program which was, they were doing this. And the social standpoint, there's also this basic stereotype about a basic gamer is this fad blob, which is basically sitting antisocial, sitting in its mom's basement, not interacting with anyone else. But actually, quoting John Safira again, which did a lot of research in this, it says, contrary to stereotypes, the average gamer is not a socially isolated and a nerd. And a study by him showed that 70% of gamers don't play alone. They play either multiplayer, competitively, or cooperative. And you would say that it's not the same as physically interacting with another person, being face to face, but it helps, since it's not the same event as being in front of another person, but it slowly helps in when you're actually meeting someone else. It helps in pro-social behavior will be more likely to occur. It'll improve social skills, and when that event happens where the person has to interact with another person, whether it be its family, friends, a person he doesn't know, he'll be more active in that area, and he'll be more socially inept with other people, whether he knows them or not. And as you can see, there's more pros than cons in video games. Not only did I cover the violent part, which is basically video games aren't what people usually depict them as, which is these violent things that cause kids to be aggressive. They get fat, they ruin relationships, all these preposterous theories that actually they don't have any proof of. They also improve health, intellectual growth, emotional control, creativity, social, and many, many more, but I'm not going to cover them right now. And after this, you should think that we should actually encourage youth, teens, and adults as well, and also the elderly, because it helps at every stage of age, to encourage them more to play video games. Actually, it helps you more than what is you said that it doesn't. And it doesn't matter if you go to another person and they say that video games are bad, or they had a kid that they bought a video game and the kid was acting bad or violent, then you know that there has to be an external event that must be happening to influence this, because the video games have been proven by facts and research that it's not the cause. They usually just pick video games to pinpoint the problem towards, so they can have something to blame. But actually, it's been proven that it's not that. And it doesn't matter what people might have to say about this, it's been proven that it's not. Facts are facts, and the fact is that video games aren't bad.